Stop calling it sorcery. Stop calling it something out of the ordinary. It was just reverse swing, and there was a 38-year-old bowler who just apparently caught you off guard. Hello and welcome to Timeout with SportsAdda. This is Babashish Nanda. With me in this show is Anurag Singh. Anurag, we're talking about James Anderson and that over. You know what people are talking about is that one of the best overs that we've seen in modern day cricket. I'll tell you what, it was very average. It was 129, 130. That's all the pace it was. It is always going to reverse swing. You're playing in India, you're playing in subcontinent. That's going to happen. But just India and specifically Gill and Rahane had no answer to that. And that's how they lost that test. This is their second loss in last 8 years at home. And you can understand that it's not something that is normal for India.
Yeah, I think it wasn't something extraordinary. The ball kept a little low. I agree to that. But I think our batsmen are well equipped to face such kind of deliveries. And I think the credit goes to Anderson for bowling those. I mean, can't take anything away from him. He's 38, still looks fit as a fiddle. But I think our batsmen could have done better there. And maybe, just maybe, the result could have been something else if they stuck around.
If they stuck around, and for heavens, I mean, you understand for a fact that the lineup and the mindset is very clear. They're going to bowl what? 4 overs, maximum 5 overs in one spell, that is all. So if the Indian batters would have just considered that and played out those 24 balls, I don't think there would have been a problem here, because both of them, Archer and even Anderson, the plan was clear that we are not going to give you longer spells. It's going to be short bursts of very accurate bowling. And I just think it's a lapse in execution as far as the Indians are concerned, rather than something out of the ordinary, which I just explained why. Now, having said that, if I'm going to ask you, the listeners or the viewers would want to know, if there's one reason why do you think India lost? Because I think this is more of a case of India losing this test than England winning it. Of course, the toss didn't go their way, but what is the one thing you can point out and say, yes, that happened and that's why India lost this game?
I would say we weren't able to, stitch long partnerships. I mean, in the batting unit, keeping aside the toss, keeping aside the wicket was like a road for the first 3 days, barely anything. But our players are well equipped to face such kind of deliveries, such kind of bowlers in our own conditions. And I think, it's a case of England being well prepared, but somewhere I think we should have tackled it well. So I think the bowlers bowled really well in the second innings. Obviously, the first innings wicket wasn't helping much, but the batters should have done a better job there. So sticking along and stitching a long partnership is what was missing in this test match.
Spot on there. That is exactly the reason that I was going for. That's what I wrote down on this piece of paper, that we lost our top 4 batters well within the 100-run mark. And when you're chasing that massive a total in the first innings, that's not going to help. So yeah, India really lacked execution as far as their batting is concerned. Now moving on, we don't have a lot of time, nor does India have a lot of time to make decisions from that loss. Now, just talking about James Anderson, now the third test is a day-night encounter. If I'm ECB right now, I would probably want James Anderson fit for that test. So there is a possibility that they might want to rest Anderson and probably bring in Stuart Broad. The counter argument to that is how many overs exactly Anderson has bowled in this test. So probably it's not going to matter that if he plays 3 in a row and they probably rest him for the last test. What is your call on that? Obviously, we know for a fact that Butler is going to go back, which is insane considering they've just won a test in India and they would want to take the momentum ahead. But yeah, Ben Foakes will join the team. Bairstow is supposed to join for the third test. So yeah, we know for sure that Foakes will come back in, and if they want to rotate the paces, because I see Dom Bess and Jack Leach playing along.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Dom Bess was fabulous in the first innings. Jack Leach, exceptional in the second. Anderson and Jofra haven't bowled that much. Our bowlers had to toil in the first innings. So I don't think they would consider resting Anderson. Yeah, seeing the day-night test, your eyes lit up. Maybe you could rest him, get in broad, but I think Anderson should go, and I think Ben Fox, yeah, for sure he's coming in because he's a like-to-like replacement for Josh Butler. Uh, Talking about England changes, I don't think any other changes are happening. So maybe just Ben Fox comes in place of Josh Butler there.
Yeah, and as far as the hosts are concerned, now this is a big deal. I mean, you can always play it down and say, oh, you know what, England were better prepared, and we sort of, we were caught off guard, whatever that is. It's still a huge loss. And does India then panic and just change their setup, or are they gonna stick with that because they're gonna say that, hey, listen, we played our best playing 11 considering it was the first game, so give them another go. The only element there is if they want to persist with Shahbaz Nadeem. Nevertheless, the amount of no balls that he's bowled already, he looked slightly lackluster in the second outing as well, even though he picked up wickets in the second innings. So yeah, there is just one call there to be made. Other than that, I don't think there are a lot of changes to be made because Virat Kohli has made it very clear that because we had two off spinners, we didn't want another bowler who's going to spin it away from the left-hander or turn it into the right-hander. Is that the thought process you're going with?
I think Kuldeep, I mean, we all know can turn the ball both ways, but Shahbaz, he deserves much more time there in the middle. So maybe we'll go in with the same combination. One thought that I had was if Washington isn't bowling that much, and he's played fabulously well in Australia. I know he's got a 50 there, but if Hardik is fit enough to bowl, maybe seeing the reverse swing, maybe seeing the ball keeping low, and Ben Stokes also getting the wicket. Maybe if the wicket is going to be the same, you can consider getting him in place of Washington Sundar there. So maybe that's one thought there. But I think more or less we'll go in with the same lineup, and the boys would be charged up this time. You'll see they'll go from the first ball itself.
What about the local boy though, Ravi Ashwin? Now, in the second innings, he looked more like the threat that we thought he will be at the start of the test match. But excellent control, understands exact plans for all the different kinds of batsmen. He was bowling different paces to different kinds of batsmen, which was interesting. How do you see this champion performance from Ashwin once again?
He's an obvious pick for everyone that's looking, to get him in their teams. He's a world-class bowler. We all know he's very smart. He's a thinking cricketer. As soon as you see the tail-enders coming in, you will see the ball not going away from them. It's coming in. So he's very smart. He knows how to mix up his pace, length, line, and he doesn't believe in giving up. That's one of his qualities. He keeps on bowling the same length and line tirelessly. So yeah, the local boy obviously will shine again as he's been doing for India all these years.
Yeah, you can call me a little greedy, but I would have loved to see Ashwin bat for 20 more overs with Washington Sundar and probably, help us just delay that first innings. But yeah, that is asking too much. But yeah, Ashwin will know with the kind of batting reputation he's had in the past, and especially when you're playing at home, you expect Ashwin to get runs too.
Yeah, I do. Coming on the part where Washington and Ashwin were batting in the first innings, 20 more overs and the whole of Chennai would have been buzzing. So, yeah, we've seen him score runs. We know he can score runs. We know he's an exceptional bowling all-rounder. Obviously, we see when he comes out to bat, we know we're getting runs down the order as well. So, yeah, a top cricketer.
Come straight away to the players that, Anurag, you think people should bank on come this second test in Chennai.
Again, I've said it from time to time. I would again bank on Shubman Gill. He looks a solid player. He's got a half century. I see a big century coming in the coming days from him. So I see Shubman there. Pujara, I've been waiting to see him score big bat for long hours. So that would be my second pick, obviously. And the third pick would obviously be the latest entry to the 300 wicket club, Ishant Sharma. I think he's bowling well. He's bowling fine. and he's got a very, very good, sensible fast bowler's head up there. So I'm counting on him to get the match to India.
If you remember the preview to the first episode, I picked a lot of radical players and they all almost worked.
Yeah.
Pant got his runs and Archer did well, and Shubham Gill, of course, as you mentioned, is your one of the picks. For this game, of course, I'm going with slightly more experienced campaigners because, first of all, I really think that second innings that Virat Kohli batted showed that he's just trying to come back to his best. And if that is the case, then there is a big 100, big double 100 maybe from Virat Kohli that is due. So Kohli is one of my first picks. I'm trying to consider the fact that because Jasprit Bumrah has now bowled close to 2 innings in these conditions, now he's someone who learns very quickly. So I'm just expecting that he's going to use all that information that he would have probably gained bowling in those 2 innings to long innings for him. That he's going to come good. So yeah, Jasprit Bumrah is the second pick. And the third one, I'm going to persist with Jack Leach. I went overall about Jack Leach, and as it came out that Leach really, really troubled the top batters. So yeah, Bumrah, Kohli and Leach for me. And do you have any thoughts about them?
No, I think very smart picks. We can see the skipper on full cylinder right now. He's going to get runs in the second test. Jasprit Bumrah, as you said, he's a quick learner. We've seen all this while that he learns very quickly. So I'm sure he's going to put a lot of thought to the game and go ahead with it. And Jack Leach was very impressive. I thought Dom West was much better, but when I saw Jack Leach bowl those deliveries in the second innings, he's very smart. He knows the nagging line, where to bowl, what pace, what flight. So he's an exceptional talent. So yeah, I think very, very smart picks there.
All right, Anurag, we'll just wrap this up quickly before we leave. I want just concluding comments, getting into that second test. How important is that for India to start well, just in the context of everything, being 1-0 down, them trying to make a move and play the final of the World Test Championship? How important it is that if India bats first, they get off to a good start, or if again England are batting first, then India start well and pick up early wickets?
I think it's very, very important. I saw the post-match presentation and even the post-match press conference from Virat Kohli. More than being disappointed, he was eagerly looking forward to the second test match. He kept on emphasizing on the fact that the guys are going to come strong and hard at England. So I think the boys are ready. I think maybe we lost it here or there. Maybe the session was bad. But yeah, very important game for us considering the final at World Test Championships and the series itself.
Absolutely. For everyone out there who are just following us, you got to go to www.sportsadda.com and get all the updates from this series and all the action in the world of sports. Until next time, from Anurag, from Babashish, it's a goodbye from here.